You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button.
The baseball portal window is officially closed. It closed at midnight on Tuesday. You might see names continue to pop up in there. LSU or not, just remains to be seen, just because sometimes when you enter late, it takes a few days for it to process and pop up. But that window is closed, and there is no really hang up. The LSU didn't get any extended time, right, for playing late into the season. The window just is what it is. So now that that's closed, and you have 5 in the boat, I want to look at remaining portal needs for LSU baseball as they head into 2026. And there are plenty. And again, a lot of it depends on, kind of a conversation we had yesterday with potential draft decisions and what guys do. But that, I think, would alter certain positions more than just overall what we're looking for here. So to start, let's go to the mound. For me, LSU has to add a starting pitcher out of the transfer portal. And I think that they will. And here's why I say you have to. LSU has a lot of guys coming back in 2026 that you think can step into that role. Kason Evans, William Schmidt, maybe Cooper Williams, maybe a guy like Maverick Rizzi, maybe one of these lefties you've gotten out of the portal. Maybe LSU has designs on turning them into a starter. But with respect to Zach Cowan, who could very well return, what LSU lacks is a proven front-of-the-rotation guy who has done it for multiple years in college baseball at a high level in Power 4 competition. Like I said, with respect to Zach Cowan. Do I think Cowan could fit into LSU's rotation in 2026 if he comes back? Yes, but I would see that more as a number 3. Could Kason Evans turn into that Friday night ace? Absolutely. But he hasn't shown you that over the course of a season. That is something that you lack. That is something that you need. And that is something that Jay Johnson has gone out and got out of the portal virtually every year he's been here. Whether it was Paul Skeens heading into 2023, you could throw Thatcher Hurd in there as well. Although Hurd was injured and coming off. That was a guy who had started his career at UCLA and was a starting pitcher. Skeens had 15 starts at Air Force. He was their Friday night guy for an entire year. Whether it was Luke Holman or Gage Jump the year after that, where Holman, remember, was a starter for Bama the entire season, was forced into that Friday night role and excelled. Jump was kind of in the same boat as Thatcher Hurd, coming from UCLA, being hurt and whatnot. Anthony Ianson a year ago. Anthony Ianson, by the end of his sophomore year at San Diego, had worked his way into their Friday night role, led that team in innings pitched, showed he could withstand it and maintain it over the course of an entire season. And 80-plus innings. That's what you're still missing right now is the proven commodity there. You have plenty of guys that you feel very confident in can step up and take that role, but you lack the proven guy. You had plenty of guys coming into this past season. Cade Anderson was one of them that you thought could take that jump, and he did. But you still went out and got somebody like an Anthony Ianson. You still went out and got somebody like Zach Cowan. LSU still has to go out and get that guy. And I think that they will because, again, Jay Johnson's done it each year he's been at LSU. Next is power bat. And this is really where you look and you look at a guy like Ethan Fry and you wonder about the decision that he's going to have to make with the MLB draft. Because Ethan Fry is a guy who is a true junior. If he decides to come back to LSU, while that would be extremely beneficial to LSU, and I think in some ways extremely beneficial for Ethan Fry to show that he can play a position, he also loses all leverage. And he's never going to be able to maximize his dollar amount in the draft like he would be this year because of that leverage. even if Ethan Fry does return, which I think selfishly we're all hoping that he does, you still need to go out and add a proven power bat. And what I mean by proven power bat is if you can get somebody who's out there that has shown that they're capable of 18, 20 home runs at the power 4 level, that's what you're after. Because you went out and you got a lot of guys who hit a lot of home runs mid-major a year ago, and that power didn't just necessarily translate all the way to the SEC. And that's a risk you take. And again, with respect to a guy like Braden Simpson, who I think is a big power bat and will hit home runs for LSU, does that fully translate from High Point over to the SEC? I mean, Danny Dickinson hit 17, 18 home runs at Utah Valley. He ended up with 12 at LSU, which is a really good number. Obviously, Luis Hernandez, those are some huge home runs Hernandez hit, but you just kind of run that risk. We talk about the starting pitching aspect that Jay Johnson has always gone out and found in the portal. Each one of Jay Johnson's teams at LSU, going all the way back to 2022, his first year, each one of them has had one, if not multiple guys who could run 20 home run balls out of the park. Whether it was Dylan Cruz and Braden Joubert in 22, Cruz, I mean, you had everybody in 23, Cruz, White, Joubert was still on that team, Gavin Dugas hit 17, like you had a bunch of guys there. White and Jones in 24, and you had Jared Jones this season. Outside of Ethan Fry, the capability for 20 home runs isn't on your team. I don't think. That's my opinion. I think you need a proven power bat at a high level of college baseball. Because in the end, it didn't matter because Jay Johnson's a great coach and he understands how to use his roster. So in the end, it didn't matter. You were still a very good offensive team capable of winning a national championship, which you did. But at times in 2025, lacking that power threat hurt you. At times, Jared Jones was your only power threat. And that hurt you. You need power in this league because in the SEC, it's built on power. The ballparks are smaller. The games tend to be a little bit more high scoring. And being able to have that helps. And again, you have guys who you look, okay, can a guy like Jake Brown get you 14 homers in 2026? Maybe. But where's the guy that's going to consistently run it out there for you? You don't have that proven guy yet. Unless, you know the power's in there for a guy like Ethan Fry, but you have to see what his decision. And even if he comes back, I think you need another one anyway. The other position just in general is outfield. One of the things LSU had a plethora of heading into 2025 was outfield depth, and that's out the window now. Ashton Larson is gone. Mick Paul is gone. I'm expecting Chris Stanfield to sign professional. Josh Pearson is gone. Even if Ethan Fry comes back, looks like he'd slide into first base. Yes, you have Curiel and Jake Brown, and that's an awesome start. But above all else, yes, you need another guy out there, but you need depth. Because what once was a big part of it isn't as much. And you have a few outfielders in your high school signing class, and if they make it to campus, that's great, and that can go with depth. And maybe, look, one of them earns the job as a freshman. Jay Johnson has shown that he will play freshman. Whether it's Curiel and Case and Evans, whether it was Milam, Larson, and Brown, like he has shown that he will play freshman and that they will have success for his team and at a high level. But the depth is what you're really, really lacking there. And I think you could really find some quality depth there in the transfer portal if you're LSU. And then, man, first base would be interesting depending on what Fry decides to do. And your infield depth took a big hit as well. You have Reeves most likely returning, Milam there as well. You think Simpson can hopefully slide in at third. Seth Dardar's there to play one of the middle infield spots also. He's even got some experience at first base. But a couple more bodies wouldn't help because there is no more Michael Braswell. There is no more Danny Dickinson. There is no more David Hogg. There is no more Mikey Ryan. And when you look at your signing class, your top prospects are most likely infielders. A guy like Quentin Young, right? So a little bit of depth there. They're far from done. But if I had to go first and foremost, starting pitcher, power bat, outfield. Like that's what I'm really, really focused in on now for LSU in the transfer portal. Your time to enter the portal is past. That is closed. But of course, you can decide where you're going to play your college baseball from now until the start of the semester, right? So they're far from done. And those are the areas that I really highlight first and foremost for LSU as they continue through this portal cycle.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.